you so much for having me, Janaki. So I would like to start by saying I'm a classic example of what you said, that you could be a next speaker, right? So I think back in 2019 or 20, when we had the first session of when the chatbot was released, and it was completely on Deluge. And before that, there was only dialogue flow and Watson, etc., which was a huge tech for any small companies to invest on. So I learned chatbot from one of these sessions, and then we learned Deluge. Then we started doing one chatbot, and we put that happy story out, and we started getting a lot of chatbot requests. And I think that 1 year alone, we went on to build more than 30 chatbots using Deluge, and that includes us building it for a company who is like Netflix in India, right? We're still working with them, and they have about 1 million of users always using their platform at any given point of time. And if it's over weekend, it goes up really, really high. And they were getting about 10 to 12,000 tickets an hour, and they had about 300 agents answering all of these tickets. And that's when they reached out to Zoho, and Zoho in turn connected us to build a chatbot for them. So the first time when we built it took about 2-3 months to understand their entire structure. They have about 450 help articles, right? And it was not manually possible to hard code all the context inside the chatbot. But we did end up creating the chatbot with the guided conversation flow immediately. There was not much of Zia back then. The codeless bot was not there back then. So we built a chatbot of about 6,000 lines, right? That was the maximum cap. It used to be 4,000. They increased it to 6,000 just for this account. And we built a 6,000 line chatbot. It was working fine. We used to test it at odd hours when the customers are not online. Sometimes around 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the mid of the weekday, because we can never test on weekends, and not during the day as well. So we used to test it at 2, 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. Chatbot, and then we went live. And for the last 1 year, since the new bot has been up, so we migrated from the old coded version of the chatbot, which was difficult to make any changes, to the newest version of chatbot. And trust me, we're one of the largest our largest customers that Zobot can have. Yesterday, the support responded saying there are about 1,000 cards that are being used just for this chatbot, right? So that's the power of Zobot. So you can think of it beyond just a basic help. Or just a guided conversation. It can connect with Zia and give you the knowledge-based articles automatically. It can also connect with ChatGPT. Again, there is some work that's already Zoho is also doing on to improvise Zia as well as ChatGPT, because both of them does the same thing, right? So we're constantly in touch with the SalesIQ team, and they're constantly improving the products as well. So I think in the last 3 years, we would have now built about 70 chatbots at least. So that's like a default solution that we give to all of our customers. If they come for a help center or a Zoho desk implementation, we said, why don't you have a chatbot? And if they come for a website page sense implementation, we said, why don't you use a chatbot and see, right? So that has really helped them in increasing their traction, answering all their relevant questions, and a very, very powerful lead generation, because it integrates very well with the CRM as well. And customer can book appointments from Zoho CRM and even their ticket status. So SalesIQ allows you to use or take the benefit of all the Zoho applications APIs and also the external applications APIs, right? So we even built a chatbot for a customer where they will add the ticket ID, and the API will get the latest response for them, and the customer can even respond it back to the chat instead of going to the ticket or email and finding those responses as well. So there are hundreds of use cases that we could do with the new chatbot coming in, and anybody can build, right? So our projects are ready. Our projects have reduced because it's self-enabled and anybody can build it on themselves, and we're very, very happy about it, right? So we would want to work on the next set of difficult tasks that can pick our brain instead of setting up the same thing. And at the same time, it saves a huge cost for the customers, that they don't have to pay anybody even a few $100s, and they can build it on their own by purchasing the product for just $50 or $70, right? So as we speak, I mean, I was joining the call. I got a customer from the US. He said, "I've built this bot. I want you to review it and add the AI part to it." I just got that email like just before joining the call. So instead of us asking us to build the chatbot, they are building it and they're asking us to improvise it, which makes us feel good and work on a better challenge as well. Now, if you talk about the good practices of building a chatbot, right, I would suggest you to create a flowchart of at least 80 to 90% of the use cases in a flowchart before you start building. Because once you start building, the product is going to amuse you with so much of options, right, that you would want to keep on improvising it, right? So before you start building it, see what are all the cards that are available, whether it's multi-choice questions or free text, and then find out which you should use for your customers, right? For example, in spite of having a natural language processing, customers are used to type with grammatical errors or spelling errors, right? So the system might not take it very well. And at that point, I would not suggest you to give a free text, because the customer will definitely not going to be answer the question at least 50% of the time. They'll be asking something else, which the bot cannot recognize, and that will end up in a bad customer satisfaction, right? So as much as you can give them options to, make it like a guided conversation, and ask them to pick and choose, so that you would also have it saved as field variables in the backend, which can be pushed to any of the product that you're using, not just Zoho, right? So, and SalesIQ allows you to create even 20, 30 custom fields, right? So for the OTT customer that we were talking about, so the journey that we defined was, they come in on the their OTT platform, they click on Help Center, which will move to Zoho Desk's Help Center. While they pass this, what will happen is the person's logged in user information will all be passed over to the Help Center, which is identified by SalesIQ automatically using a one-liner script. So if I'm a customer who's logging into the OTT platform and clicking on support, so I will have very specific options to see if I'm a guest user who is not even logged in, I'll get different set of questions to assist me with the login and the new content that I can make use of, which will enable me to become a subscriber. And if I'm a subscriber, with respect of my payment status, do I have an active subscription? Do I have a subscription which is expired? Or if I'm logging to a different ID? So we started using API calls inside, because it's very likely that your email ID will be different and your phone number will be different with respect to the subscription, and the customer will be using the wrong IDs to log in, right? So what we proactively did was we proactively created an API call and then said, "Hey, Radha, you know what? You have an active subscription with your personal phone number, but you have currently logged in with this phone number, which is also in our database, and that is why you're not able to view the content that you're trying to access," right? So you can give that kind of specific customer support instead of an agent taking at least 3 to 4 hours for him to see this data and then send you an email, right? Because if you're in a mood to watch a movie and if you're not able to access this, you're not going to wait for like 2-3 hours for the support to tell you, and then you get back in the mood to watch that movie, right? So you can have as much as API calls inside the system, and you can specifically define these as well. So identify the cards that you're going to use and identify the entire flow on at what part am I going to use ChatGPT or Zia, right? Because an entire bot cannot be handled by Zia. Even the ChatGPT does not give you the best answers. And one of the important thing is, if you're a company who is B2C, there are very chances that it's going to pick up the content from the internet, which might not be correct. And you don't want the customers to go through the wrong content on your website, right? Because anything that's coming out of your website, they think that it'll be legit, right? So we'll have to be very careful with the ChatGPT or Zia whenever we are working on the sales, like on the bot. So just have a very small portion of it for ChatGPT and give them the guided conversation as much as you can to identify the details and save it to any of the applications that you want. So first is identify the cards, identify the integration pieces of it, right? Where the data should be saved, where it is coming from, etc. And make use of the powerful APIs. If the default integration card does not allow you to directly push or pull data, you can anytime make use of the API. And yeah, and make use of profanity as well if you're B2C, because that's very, very powerful. And it's one of the best that I have seen in any of the chatbots that I've did a competitive analysis on. So the default profanity itself comes about with about 100 plus odd words, and you could add it to your list as well. So the bot will identify the words which are wrong and which are not right, and it will handle it gracefully instead of it taking it to the agent and then the agent taking it on them, right? So make use of the profanity. That's something that I really, really love about the Zobot when it comes to B2C clients. So I'll see if I can share any of the workflows with you, just as an example. Yeah, and you can also have a document also written to it with the content before you feed it in inside the Zobot, and also make use of the videos and these image cards, right? So they are very, very good. So if I'm a business owner, I wouldn't want my customer to move out of the website because I've spent so much on the SEOs, Google Ads, and Facebooks for him to land on the website and spend some time with us, right? So I don't want him to go out of the system, out of the website, and then get deviated with some other content, because the moment you redirect him to YouTube, YouTube is going to give you another 100 set of automated video suggestions, so that he doesn't want you to leave YouTube either, right? So you can play that video inside the chatbot itself, and you need not, redirect them to anything else. And yeah, just a quick screen share about something. This is a very, very basic one that we created, but it kind of gives you the information on what you're looking at, right? So this is my platform, this is what I'm doing, something like this. So, and then you go back. This is pretty old. We did it with the hard-coded Zobot, but I think you can visualize how your current Zobot will also look like, right? So when do you want to take it back? And the interesting part of it is you can always iterate the bot. You don't have to reset it again and again. There's a wonderful card which will allow you to say go to, right? So you can go to that same bot, and even if the customer has selected the wrong thing, give him an option to go back so that he can go back and reuse the same bot. See, the worst part is the Zobot will be ready in a day. Your website will take so many days. So that's the same case for our website also. I've created my own website, my own chatbot like 3 months ago, but my website is still not up, so I can't put it. Yes, Nijam, you had a question, please?
Okay, so as I have a question. So basically, does Zobot supports storing a static file, which means whenever I need to throw some kind of like a quotes, so I can instantly throw.
Like a static file is a PDF kind of something for the users to download.
Yes, of course. But instead of the public URL, I just need to store the file inside the Zobot itself. So does Zoho server allows it?
I don't think so, but I can definitely check. So what we did it was we put it on a public link and share that link so that when they click on the link, it automatically downloads. So that is something that you can do, but I can check if a static file, as far as I know, it's not, but let me double check. So how
Because
big is that file?
not every customer has a website or something, so it's very difficult for them to have the public link. So
Okay.
let's say Zoho also does not provide anything like anything instantly download like a single click. So they have only one option, which is a work drive, which also it's like a double step, which means whenever you click the link, it will redirect to some site, and you need to again click download. Otherwise, there is no one click option. Okay, so my question is, let's say I'm building a Zobot. Okay, so a customer is coming, so I have some kind of a predefined quotation. So what I need is So the customer should not wait for anything. They just need to directly download the quote from the chatbot itself. So my ask is here is, I just need, without a link, without a public link which redirects to the external site, with a one single click, I need to download the quotation, and that quotation, I mean the PDF also should be stored inside the Zobot. Right now,
Uh,
there is a one solution which is entirely dependent on Zoho, is using a work drive. But the problem right now in the work drive is, so if you click the link of the work drive, it won't directly download. Instead, what it will do is it will redirect to the site, and in the site there is a option called download as a button. So you need to do a two-step things. So is that any way we can achieve it in a single step? So it will be a best customer journey.
Yeah, Manikandan, you want to share?
sure. Hey, hi. So there are a couple of ways of how you can do it. Say, for instance, you are on a codeless platform. You have an article that talks about, the code or something. You can directly put that article there, right? Say, for instance, you have two options. One is something someone is going to ask about a code, right? And then you can put the article, so that can talk about the complete core information, whatever you have it. So the visitor don't have to move somewhere, so that they have every information right inside that article.
No, my question is not about the article. It's like a direct quotation, some kind of basic things. Because you may, as a company, as a client, they won't sell dozens of product. So they will specifically sell some kind of fixed, focused product.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a quotation which is on. It's like a ready-made. So what they will do is, based on the quotation, after the negotiations, they will come down the prices. But they will definitely have some kind of fixed prices with a fixed product.
Okay.
It's not about now that you are reading the details. It's about now that you are directly getting some kind of a basic price.
Right.
In a PDF.
Got it. So, but still, I think here what you can do is, so when you send a message, there could be an attachment along with that, right? So, have you ever had a chance of looking at a codeless builder platform?
Okay, so
I would say,
I'll look into it.
so when you have a chance to look at the codeless platform, so when someone is going to ask for a code, the subsequent card you can use there or have it in place could be a send message card. So in the send message card, you can have any attachments of what you wanted, like maybe a PDF or an image, whatever you wanted. So someone can see that information right inside the chat window, and they can download it still if they want it, without having to navigate to any external link.
Okay, I'll look into it, but we are checking only within a Zoho solution. We are not
Yeah, I'm
looking
just talking.
anything
Even I'm
outside.
talking about the same Zoho, the Zoho bot itself, or the SalesIQ chat itself.
Okay, I'll definitely look into it.
Sure. So, and to the reference of you, Sasi has also dropped you a link, so where whenever possible you can take a look at that.
I think Tony asked there was a recommended tool for building flowcharts. So there's Xmind, Lucidchart, Miro, and there's Vani HQ, which is from Zoho. I'm not sure if they've published it yet, but I got a beta access and I'm using it for all our implementations. So I love this as well. This does more than just flowcharts. You can even have your stand-up meetings inside it. So I'm using it. So you could also give a try for Vani HQ. So I'm just going to quickly share what I built, right? And so Zobot is the first thing that we train along with a few other basics whenever we onboard somebody, right? So yeah, just a welcome card with some primary options. And usually what people get confused is your response card and your button in single choice and multiple choice, the difference, right? There's also a card which will still show the options, but let the customer type, right? So you again, it's up to you to decide whether you want both to happen. What happens if they type, and what happens if they just choose the button? And again, there's a slider scale, etc. Yeah, prototype. So you can use a slider scale and other things, and you can use the ratings, locations, etc. And you can also make use of the API card, right? So you can also use the plugs, which is the API card, where you write all the codes and fetch the data. So, and one thing that I love about is, though it is a code running inside the chatbot between two options or inside the flow, the runtime of these plugs are really, really, really fast, and it does not take even a second, right? So even for the customers that I was talking about, where there is millions of users accessing it on a daily basis, at least the chatbot closes a minimum of 5,000 tickets in a day. And even there, the plugs for it to get the APIs of the customer details and then put it back into the chatbot processing, because based on the data that we give, there's also another logic that gets processed. And for it to come back with the answer with the text, the response time or the entire runtime is less than 2 seconds. The maximum that I have seen is 2 seconds, which is again the message gap that we're going to give anyway, which is a 1 or 2 seconds to make it look realistic and not a bot-thrown response, right? So make use of plugs even for higher implementations. So yeah, so you can make it look like the content can be very personalized instead of just bot content. You can have hyperlinks. You can say if the customer does not do anything, what's the default one? You can also take it back. Yeah, so we're very proud sharing our customer stories and all that here, some of our customers. So this is like a person talking to you is what we decided, right? And then we got the customer fields, who's going to visit. Some of this is already tracked at the SalesIQ level, so you can make use of the SalesIQ default fields on the landing page and other things, so you don't have to ask the customer every single time. And you can also check for the Zoho SalesIQ scripts, API scripts. That would still work, right? So you can also use this, right? Go through this and see. Shashi, am I on the right website, right card? Is that the right one?
Yes, that's the right one.
Yeah. So you can also make use of these, which will give you very good image of this. And even if you're trying to control the bot from an API perspective, you can still use these code and embed it for us to do this as well, right? So you can have a hybrid bot which is half built via coded and half built via the codeless bot. You can connect it with the external integrations. You can connect it with your backend server or the customer's backend DB, which has a basic level of API. And so for the OTT customer, what we started building was, so they had all their customers' details in their backend platform, but the backend platform did not have the control of just the view access, right? It didn't have good access control, let's say it like that. So if I'm an agent, so I have a ticket where the customers ask me when is my subscription end date, right? So I go back to that tool, but I have every access to change the subscription, to deactivate the customer, to everything, right? So which should not be the access for 300 agents or 100 agents using it on a daily basis. So that is when we started using the APIs. And every time a customer came on board, while we're already writing an API code to understand who he is and what's the subscription type is, so we started pushing that data into CRM. Now we have our own set of CRM data, which would give you the details of the customer. And with that, they started taking insights of which customer is coming back to us again and again, right? So with Zoho, with SalesIQ, you might probably take how many chats I've got, how many returning visitors and all that. But if we cannot do further analysis at the option level, or say Radha always raises a ticket on the login, right? Or Radha always raises a ticket that's in her local language movie that she is not able to access, right? So then somebody can take the support to the next level and proactively reach out and guide them on how they can use it. Sometimes that could even enable them to push them to a different level of subscription so that the entire family can start using it, like typically how Netflix has it, etc., right? So now we restricted the access of the agents. About 80% of the agents now do not have access to the portal where they were able to control everything. They now have a DB of data collected over a period of time from the chatbot, and that's available in CRM already, right? And one more thing. So when we started working with that OTT customer, they had about 200 plus agents or so. Whenever a big hero's movie is getting released, they used to purchase more licenses, etc. Now they've reduced the counts by about 150, which is more than 40% of their agents have been agent license have been reduced on this, and the bot is taking care of those, and those team is taking care of something else. They've all moved to L through L3 to handle better request and not the L1 request again. Questions coming back to this. Is there a way proves to be an exception to yes? Is there a way to handle chat from SalesIQ to Zoho? Yeah, we can do that as well. So I would suggest specific questions, right? If you say, are you hiring? Or see, they're definitely not going to type, are you hiring? They might say, I want job. So, or just job. Then they will end up giving, if he's really a, somebody who's very enthusiastic, he's going to type a 6-line of intro about himself and why he needs that job, right? Zia or ChatGPT cannot be trained for that. So I would say at the start of the bot, split it into 2 ways, for a customer and for somebody who's looking for a job. If you're a recruitment agency, it is very, very likely that people will get confused whether to apply to your company or the company that you're serving to, right? So at the start of the bot, make it like, I'm a candidate, I'm a customer, I'm an agency, kind of. Zoho Recruit has its own chat agent. I'm not really sure of that. Is that powered by SalesIQ?
Yeah.
Great. Okay. I've not tried that. So I'm sure it is not powered by the complete Zobot. Is that powered by the complete Zobot?
Yeah, the chat agent here for most of the applications are powered by SalesIQ.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think it's the way that Zoho Desk and CRM used to have it, right? The same way.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Maybe Mani or Shashi can help me here to how you can make it recruit. I would still suggest use SalesIQ rather than the Zoho Recruit chat agent, right? Because this has more options and you have better control and better reports on this. I'm a fan of SalesIQ, so I would anyway push you to move to SalesIQ.
Yeah, it is like this. The chat option, chat agent, which is there in Recruit, is a lighter version of SalesIQ. SalesIQ Lite, you can say. SalesIQ is dedicated, the Zobot is dedicated for the bot, so it has more advanced features. Yeah, so you can use vice versa. And if you are a Zoho one, yes, Mani, please go ahead.
So as you rightly put, yeah, it's better you keep in SalesIQ, so you have the extensive way of handling queries across any Zoho apps. Well, SalesIQ chatbot is not just going to be limited only with Zoho ecosystem, as Radha was walking through different touch points here. Yes, it is going to interact with any external system just for the fact that it has the API capability. So to rightly here, as if you prefer to have it in codeless, just by the plug capability, you can take any information. For instance, someone talks about the hiring, or if you want to know the list of recruitments that slots are available, any information you take it, you want it. With the help of plug, you can communicate, and the SalesIQ bot could answer your visitor's question.
So how about NLP in Zoho SalesIQ? So I would let Sasi and Mani to answer this because even Dialogflow and Watson does not have the best NLP on what we are requesting for today. So it depends on the product's level of and the backend technologies that they use. So Mani, please help me here.
Definitely is, Radha. So we've been having Answerbot and for a while. So we have a customers using Answerbot, which I would call it our own intelligent bot, or to some level of the NLP, which could answer questions based on resources what we've built in. So the resources what we take into fact are the articles, FAQs, the small talks business terms that you have it right inside SalesIQ resources, and some customers who have articles and desks. As we have a native integration, one can pull all your articles right inside SalesIQ, so that they don't have to redo everything, create right from the scratch. And also, additionally, we have the option to import articles too, right? So you have it in a sheet, you do it. So right now, so the Answerbot, what we have, so is going to basically respond based on the keywords that someone is going to type in. One necessarily don't have to always stick on to the the guided version. So I'm on the website. Even someone had a chance to look at the Zoho SalesIQ website. We also have AI there. Any answer, free flow text you're gonna type in, it quickly searches from the resources what data we have it, and we respond to it. And lately, we also seen many customers, and one good part is you can also use our AI, the Answerbot, inside the codeless bot. So here it can be like an hybrid bot. So as I go through my journey, in a specific journey, there could be an option where the customer can have any open-ended question, and that's when I'll bring my Answerbot there, or the AI card there. So it can answer any open-ended questions by looking into my resources section. And that's how I place the NLP with SalesIQ as an Answerbot separately, or when you decide to go with the codeless bot, you can use it as an hybrid bot just by having the Answerbot card anywhere in your flow. And that gives a complete way of handling a bot or a good customer experience, I would say.
Right. Can you also explain them a bit about small talk? Because most of the feedback that the customer comes back and saying the bot does not speak like a person, it's kind of put off for somebody. So, and that's when I really like the small talk part of it. Can you just explain them a bit about small talk, please?
Well, definitely, yes. So generally, customers know what an article and FAQ can do. So sometimes when there's a pretty straightforward answer, just for asking what is the plan or something. So when you want to give it in a simple answer, that's when we go with FAQ. And article is much more detailed version, or when you want to show a lot of things, that's when you create an article, and someone is going to click an article, someone can expand to view the complete information. And next comes the small talks. So there is already a default package inside the dashboard, which could tell you what the small talks can do. Say, for instance, you greet for the matter of someone greets, the bot could greet, which could add more a human touch with the help of the small talks. Say when someone greets, or when someone asks, what is your age, or what is your name, and something like that, to add a personal touch. So while we have some default packages which answer some generally asked questions, to make it more personal, one also have the ability to add a custom package. They would like to have it, and based on their business, based on the region they are going to handle, and sometimes it differs, right? And that's when they can bring in add more customized small talks, and to have a human touch as they interact with the bot.
Okay, I have one thing. Let's say if you look at the most of the bots, which has a large customer base, they have auto suggestions. Let's say if you type any questions, while typing itself, the FAQs will pop up like a link, so they can instantly read it instead of they're typing the entire FAQs. So is that Zobot has anything like that?
Well, that's a good
Like
question, Nijan. Is I've seen it. I understand what exactly you were trying to ask me. So as I type, it should autofill my question, or it should give me suggestions to my question. And the moment I hit enter, you expect the articles to come up, and that's something a very good
no.
feedback. Yeah.
I mean, without entering the type itself, it should automatically pop up. That's how a lot of the chatbots right now have. So most of the enterprise chatbot already have it.
Well, yes, definitely. Each business have their own use case. Some businesses are good at a few things, and yes. Well, I would say yes. We can definitely take it as a point to see how we can also fit such feedbacks. But additionally, what we have is we also have an article tab there. We are actually revamping our chat window tab. So there is also an article button at the very bottom anytime, so they can quickly surf through the articles. But that's something a feedback we will take it to our team to see how we can fit in our product.
Okay, so anyways, let me give a bit more context.
Sure.
How exactly
Yeah,
what
please.
usually the customers require. Let's say that if I think you have ordered a lot of things in online. So it's most probably this kind of things will happen if it is like online platform which handle large number of customers. So the customers will basically type, so they won't really search any FAQs. They have a very like NLP, they will have a very blunt text, so they will keep on typing, but they will expect some relevant answers should automatically pop up.
Okay. Yes.
Because you can't expect the customers to go through the FAQ by automatically going every FAQs one by one.
That's true, Nijam. So again, NLP plays a role here. So some businesses would expect, based on the orders, they would expect the FAQ to be coming in, and some businesses, as they type a couple of keywords, they keep something to be more personalized. As though we have NLP, and the use case each business is going to have is completely going to be different. So among different use case, what you've asked is one among the different use cases you just put in here, and that's how eventually every business would plan to have their bot to answer, to diversify or to handle multiple use cases that could fit in. So your point is taken, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. In my experience, I've managed quite well to make the bot. However, can you hear me all right?
Very clear.
Okay, I've managed to make the bot quite well, but I'm struggling with finishing it off. So I've got a lot of incomplete. I'm just not quite sure how to end the conversations, because a lot of the time I'm sending them to a a human to actually attend to the situation. But I don't know if it's because I haven't got it properly set up on the website yet. I'm still in test mode, that I'm not actually seeing it finalize and switch across to a user. How do I know that it's going to actually do that? Do I have to install it and actually test it on the website?
So there is a simulator inside the bot, right? So you can test your bot right while you're building it.
Right. Okay. Yes, I've tested the bot, but near the end of it, the problem I'm getting is it kind of comes to a dead end and it doesn't complete the action. So if I get it up here, let me just get it up right now. So I'll just scroll across here. So I can go to, I can even go to, if somebody asks about a particular machine, I've got the bot to be able to forward them to, for instance, Toro, a big manufacturer's website, and they can actually download their own machine breakdown. They can then come and they can search on my website, and it instructs them how to do that. But then I've got like, if you still can't find your parts, leave a message and someone will get back to you. And I've got a button, and then on my button card, there's always a default arrow, and I'm just not sure where that's meant to go.
Okay, so what's the error message say?
So it just gets to the end, and it doesn't really complete the conversation. I haven't done it right now. I'll just take a screenshot. See, can I take a screenshot on there?
Yeah, I would also suggest that if you could also write to the team with probably a mini screen recording for a few seconds of what you're exactly trying to do. They can also check the backend logs with the timestamp and other things. And yeah, support@salesiq.com. Is that the right email ID, Mani? Yeah, I would suggest just send them a quick 3 to 5 seconds of video of what you're trying to do, explaining this, and they can check the logs and also assist you.
Right. Okay. I'll do that to the support at some stage.
Yeah.
And we'll also
Yes,
follow.
I've dropped in the correct email address where you can. Yes, Radha's corrected it. Yep, that's the email.
Excellent. Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Is it possible to have auto suggestions as soon as user types something?
Yeah. Yes, go ahead, Mani.
All right. So I think probably somebody still has questions on this. Probably I'll quickly take a minute or two just to show a quick demo of how it is going to interact in real time, so that it could benefit a lot of users from this session. I'll take just our own example of our bot, how we use the guided flow and also the NLP, the answer bot, working together. So once someone is typing, the moment they're going to come here, it's going to show a list of options. And necessarily, I might have a different question, and I prefer to type here. So it gives me an answer right away, and with the related suggestion article that I can take a look. So here now I want to quickly understand how do I enable a bot or something. So I can just see it right from here. So now I can go back. I can go with the other articles. Now, while I do it, I can so I can keep asking questions to my bot. And once I'm good, even my follow-up actions could be I can go back to the main menu. And either I would sit with the flow, and or still I can free-flow type my questions where my answer bot or the AI could come in and help with the my resources section. I hope this would give you a better insight rather than we were trying to explain over the meeting. So probably I think that would answer Kamal's question.
I was also thinking, is there a kind of auto complete feature or something like that? I mean, if they type like half of the text, I was just thinking about it.
That's something not available at the moment. That is something we can consider as we move further.
For an example, like when we type slash and then the slash commands and other options pop up, and if you will type something, yeah.
I take it, but that's something not available at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, this question just came into my mind and I asked. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, Savo has some question. Please go ahead, Savo.
Thank you. I'd like to ask a question. I've set up a Zobot to enable my users. I'm a property management company where I have apartments to let. So people select a location, then I show them the different apartments in that specific location. So when I'm sending the videos or photos of a specific apartment type, the videos come way later because after they see the videos, there is a next step. Either they book a site visit or check out other units. But what happens is the videos are sent, and then there's a button. The next card is a button card. The button card comes first, then the videos are sent. So is there a way to ensure that the videos goes first and then the button card comes after? And this is a Zobot that I've been able to implement on WhatsApp, on the WhatsApp channel. So I'm running ads on Instagram, so Instagram or Facebook, then they come into WhatsApp. Though Facebook has blocked that option where you can bring in WhatsApp messages to a WhatsApp business that's connected to some third party. So, but I'd like that delay of videos. Is there a way to stop that from happening? Because now most of the users get lost and they don't see the next step because the last message that they see is the video or the photos that are there. They'll have to scroll up a little bit for them to be able to see the button card, and some don't know, especially if it is the first time interacting with the bot.
Okay. Well, is that possible? Would you like to drop those details to our email address, to support email address, where we can take a look to see how better we can handle it, and if there is something we could refine it, we'll also speak with the team to do it. So, would you mind dropping those details to us?
Yes, I will. Just share me an email address that I can send them to.
So I will again share it in this meeting so that you have a chance to look at it.
That's all right. Thank you. I also missed anything to do with the ChatGPT or OpenAI integration. So and also a few questions on that in the chat.
Mhm.
Just a quick brief on how it actually works.
So you want to know how the OpenAI and the Answerbot works?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you know, Answerbot is a part of SalesIQ, which is our AI bot or Answerbot card, which can respond to the visitors based on the resources that you have built inside SalesIQ. So you have it as separate cards. One is the Answerbot card, and the other one is the OpenAI card. So if someone who has built the resources efficiently right inside SalesIQ, they would prefer to use the Answerbot card. So we have a control on what the bot is going to respond. And very few businesses would still rely on ChatGPT, because whatever you type, you might have tried the OpenAI where you go, you type in anything, and it's going to give you any answers there. And the similar experience can be done inside the Zobot. And you have the option to choose from the Answerbot card or the OpenAI card. And that's how we place it or works inside the SalesIQ.
Yeah, just a quick follow up on the Answerbot and the ChatGPT. Does it preload all of the information from your resources into like tokens, or is it like a search in the moment, or how does it handle that?
Okay. For the Answerbot, there are no tokens involved in it, right? Because as you could see on the screen, Answerbot is our own resources, which is built inside SalesIQ, which is a part of SalesIQ. So technically, you will not be buying any tokens or something for that.
No.
Okay.
I'm specifically talking about the fetch that right there. That
Okay.
that tool right there. The fetch
Okay, I'm coming to
answers
that.
and resources.
Right, I'm coming to that.
Okay.
So now, when the ChatGPT is going to respond with the R resources, then yes, the tokens will count based on the credits available that you have with ChatGPT. Your account will be taken whenever the ChatGPT is going to respond with our resources. Now, how it's going to work? So, what we'll do is when we send the articles and FAQs, it just goes as a card. Say, for instance, when it's going to respond as an article, someone is going to click on it and open it. But rather, when you prefer to use ChatGPT to respond with our resources, which is the desk engine, so it actually reviews our content, and it responds based on the articles that it does go through. So it reviews, refines the content, and sends it. So whenever the ChatGPT is involved, the tokens are counted.
Okay. So
some customers who could be verified, no, they don't want a general answer to do it, and they only want the SalesIQ resources to count, and that's when this option could be used, and it's taken from there. Yes, Chris, go ahead.
Oh, that's very good. I think the only thing missing from that is like giving ChatGPT a general context and how to respond.
Correct.
But what I was actually referring to is there's a limit to the amount of words and letters that you can send to ChatGPT. I think it's like 4,000. And that's what I was wondering, like how extensive I could make my database. And of course, with you using Zoho Desk knowledge base articles, you can really send a ton of information up to ChatGPT. And I was kind of wondering about the technical logistics of that.
I get it. Sati, you want something to add on this context?
When I use ChatGPT directly, I have a text file that I paste into it, and it gives it like, you are to pretend that you are a chat agent on this website, and you will only recommend the products and services from this website. This is our phone number. This is our address. Basic information like that, and then it can respond pretty intelligently. And and I can see that I can do a lot of the building of that in the knowledge base and the articles and the SalesIQ resources, but that general initial response isn't available in the Answerbot card. It's more available in the ChatGPT card, but I don't think the ChatGPT card can go through the articles.
I think Mani used to say, correct me if I'm wrong. So I had a call with Aslam like a couple of weeks ago, and they said they're building this part of it or trying to improvise this part of it so that we don't have to rely on ChatGPT and the content will be placed inside the bot from Zia itself.
I mean,
Yes.
mostly I'm looking for it to pull the knowledge from my resources, but for its natural language models to be the interactor, because they have the best natural language models right now.
Okay. So
And
the
for-
first answer, Radha. Yes.
And to like give you a small answer, if I put into if I put into the resources, 10 computers costs $45, and I say to and then I ask ChatGPT how much would 10 computers cost, it'll give me a response that says 10 computers at $45 each is $450, which is kind of like the response I'd love to give my end users. But you can't get that kind of response throwing the same data into the articles and things like that. And that's where I think that's where I come back looking for the ability to directly give ChatGPT context information.
Well, Chris. So yes. So basically, what you are referring here is a fine tuning of ChatGPT. So basically this ground relies with ChatGPT. So when you are able to fine tune the ChatGPT, and when the same account is going to be integrated with SalesIQ, the SalesIQ is also going to respond to the same question. So you have your account, OpenAI. Let's say you fine tune on how you want to respond to it. So you ensure the question you ask to the ChatGPT is something what you expect. And eventually, when you connect the same ChatGPT account with SalesIQ, SalesIQ is going to just do the same thing. It's just how.
Never use the. Yeah. I'm sorry. I've never used the fine tuning on ChatGPT.
Okay. So I think they have recently opened it, and only with the help of fine tuning, I think you can control of what ChatGPT is going to respond.
Maybe I think the use case can be done with using plugs. I mean the calculations.
Of course, yes.
This is over.
Yes.
I'd be happy to show. I'd be happy to show rather than tell. And I could do a screen sharing and show what I've done and what I'd like to do in SalesIQ.
Yes, please go ahead, Chris.
Okay. So to if I feed, let me just attach a text file here. Just to launch a standard ChatGPT window, I will have a generic text file full of generic information about my company. I can take all this information and copy it and just paste it into the prompt. And then ChatGPT is ready to answer. Now, there are chat plugins that let me do this before it comes up. I could show you a third-party plugin that does this, but basically, now that I have fed this information into ChatGPT, I can ask it all kinds of silly questions like, where are you located? Who is Chris? When were you founded? All this information is basically there. Like, would it cost for 11 computers? and it'll come up with a clean answer right there. Now, and that's the kind of response I'd like to be able to get with the answer cards, with the answer bot. And it doesn't seem to give this kind of response. It just kind of acts like a search engine and throws articles at people. So it comes back with really good. It comes back with really good answers. It's for me throwing the text file at. Are you seeing the screen? You getting what I'm?
Yes, Chris. Yes, Chris. I see.
Yeah.
And what happens when you try a similar questions with ChatGPT inside SalesIQ? How's the experience there?
Oh, let's go to and I have this text file loaded as an article. We can go to the website and see it live. Let's say, how much does it cost for 11 computers? It's typed exactly the same way.
Okay.
It doesn't have a great
Sorry to
answer.
disturb. Chris, shall I add one more point about ChatGPT?
Sure.
Yeah, so Chris, first thing, ChatGPT is actually a pre-trained model. So if you look into the ChatGPT 4. I think the latest version I think it was trained on till 2021. So which means your information is literally outdated. So are you okay with that?
No. The information it is pulling is directly from this text that I just pasted into the chat before it started. That's all it's got, is the information from that text. I fed it everything it needs to know in this text right here.
Okay, I got it.
What if
I go
in the
to
reply bot?
ChatGPT and ask it a new question about Geeks Online, my company? It
Sorry?
has no clue.
Yeah.
It has no clue if I don't feed that information in there. So if I throw that information in here, then it knows everything. It's getting all of this information from me in the prompt, which can be loaded as context in an integration.
Okay. Well, Shashi.
Yes, Mani.
Okay, as Chris was showing here, I think probably we can just try to have a session with him just to get his exact use case to see how we can fit here and what are the suggestions we can give him.
Yes.
I would be grateful for that time. I would be very grateful for time. Anytime you want to do that,
Sure,
I would
Chris.
be delighted.
Probably I and Sasi will join with you to just get a better understanding of what you've done in ChatGPT. And since we also have integration with ChatGPT and we also have a command to execute, so we can also play around that, tell you how better, what are the best suggestions you can handle around with this. So I'll take this question alone, the last question. So basically, one can choose the resources, how the bot should respond. So what you've asked is the desk resource using the OpenAI to respond. So basically, it's desk engine where when someone is going to type a question, it locates an article, and the OpenAI reads the article to give the content inside the right from that article. Rather than give it as an article, it reads the content and refines and then sends the answer. And that's how the OpenAI is used to use our resources to send a response. Well, yes, provided Chris has asked every article that he has inside Sales IQ or the desk, then it is going to work. But it's going to be something different. He may have resources not limited. It can also be a open resource, or the way he is trained could be something different. And that is when we will be also trying to connect with him to see how well he's done some training or fine tune on something on that. And then we'll be giving him more suggestions. Not necessarily this will entirely may help Chris.